Title: My wife went to her ex's party. My silent revenge shocked her. The living room's soft glow from the fireplace cast flickering shadows on the hardwood floor, the crackle of burning logs a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. Maren stood by the door, her dark hair pulled back, her eyes cold as she adjusted her scarf, her voice sharp with defiance. "I'm going to Eamon's party, Thane," she said, ignoring my protests, her tone cutting through me like a blade. I begged her not to go. Eamon was her ex, a man I'd always distrusted, but she sneered, her dismissal a familiar sting. I ignored her for a week after that night, but then everything took a turn, unraveling a betrayal I never saw coming. I'm Thane, a man who feels too deeply, average height, soft-spoken, with a heart that breaks too easily. Maren called me weak, her favorite insult, delivered with a sneer that made me feel small. I'd loved her since our first date at a small-town bookshop, her fiery ambition a spark I thought we'd share, her career as a graphic designer a dream I supported with every late shift at the local bakery. But that spark turned to ice, her ambition a wall I couldn't scale. Her late nights, her dismissive sneers, the way she'd brush off my concerns, they were signs I ignored, hoping love could fix us, until her decision to go to Eamon's party forced me to see the truth. I stood by the fireplace, my hands trembling, tears I despised burning my eyes, the weight of her defiance a physical blow. "He's just hosting a party, Thane," she'd said, her tone mocking, as if my fears were a joke. But I knew Eamon, her ex, the man she'd always spoken of with a lingering fondness, her laughter brighter for him than for me at company events. I'd found a text from him on her phone last month, "See you soon," but she laughed it off, calling me paranoid. "You're so needy, Thane," she'd said, and I believed her, thought I was the problem, until her choice to go to his party confirmed my fears, a truth I couldn't unsee. I turned away as she left, the doors slamming behind her, the fire's warmth now a mockery of the life I thought we had. I ignored her for a week, refusing to answer her calls, her texts, her late-night knocks, my silence a quiet rebellion, a line drawn after years of her cruelty. I drove to Torvald's place, my best friend who'd never trusted Maren. His apartment, a cozy space above a hardware store, smelled of sawdust and metal, a refuge from the chaos inside me. He opened the door, his face softening as he saw my expression. "What happened, Thane?" he asked, pulling me inside. I collapsed onto his worn couch, the words spilling out, the living room, Maren's defiance, her decision to go to Eamon's party despite my protests, my week of silence, my escape. Torvald's jaw tightened, his usual humor gone. "She's a snake," he said, handing me a glass of water. "You did the right thing, ignoring her." I nodded, my throat tight, unable to speak, the weight of her betrayal a crushing force. I opened my notebook, a secret I'd kept since Maren mocked my writing as childish, and wrote, "I'm not her puppet." The words felt fragile, but they sparked a resolve, a need to act, not just flee. I texted Brynja, my co-worker at the bakery who'd seen me through Maren's worst. Maren went to Eamon's party. I ignored her for a week. Her reply was instant. Asterisk, meet me at the bakery tomorrow. We'll plan. Asterisk, the night stretched endlessly. Maren's sneer at my protest a haunting loop. Her betrayal a wound I couldn't close. I thought of our early days, her smile once genuine, a memory tainted by her cruelty. The bakery loomed, a battlefield I wasn't fully ready for, but I knew I had to face her, to uncover her lies, while her decision to go to Eamon's party echoed, a moment I'd never forget, driving me to fight with a strength she'd never break. As everything took a turn I never expected. The bakery's warm aroma of fresh bread and cinnamon filled the air as I stepped inside, the morning light streaming through the windows, casting a golden glow on the wooden counters, a stark contrast to the storm inside me. Maren's defiance, asterisk, "I'm going to Eamon's party," Thane asterisk, still echoed, her sneering dismissal of my protests a haunting wound, and my week of ignoring her had been a quiet rebellion, a line drawn after years of her cruelty. I'd come to meet Brynja, my notebook tucked in my bag with the words, asterisk, "I'm not her puppet," asterisk, a mantra I clung to, determined to uncover the truth and fight back. Brynja was waiting behind the counter, her warm smile a contrast to the storm inside me as she pulled me into the back room, the scent of yeast and flour grounding me. "You did the right thing, ignoring her, Thane," she said, her voice steady, her role in my fight a fierce anchor. I nodded, my hands trembling as I recounted the night, Maren's decision to go to Eamon's party, my protests, her sneer, my week of silence. Brynja's eyes narrowed, her support a lifeline. "We'll find out what she's hiding," she said, pulling out her phone. "I know someone who can help." She called Sigrid, A private investigator she'd worked with before, putting her on speaker. I can look into her, Thane, Sigrid said, her voice crisp. If she's been unfaithful, there'll be a trail. I nodded, the stakes rising, my determination unshakable. Do it, I said, my voice firm, a step toward agency I'd never taken with Maren. Sigrid agreed, her tone steady. I'll start with her financials and phone records. Be ready for anything. I wrote, her lies won't bury me. The words were a vow, a fire growing within me to face the truth Maren had hidden. I decided to confront Eamon, her ex, to shake their connection, an external conflict I was ready for. I drove to his loft, a modern space in the arts district, my heart pounding as I knocked. He opened the door, his smirk faltering as he saw me, his eyes darting nervously. Thane, he said, his voice tight, a flicker of the man who'd always hovered too close to Maren. I know she was at your party, I said, my voice steady, cutting through his pretense. What's going on between you two? His face paled, a flash of panic, a glimpse of guilt I hadn't expected. She came to me, he stammered, his voice breaking. She said she was done with you, wanted to start over. I left, the confrontation a small victory, Eamon's confession a weapon Sigrid could use. Back at Torvald's, I wrote, I'm free to see. The pain of Maren's defiance, her affair with Eamon, still stung, but I was moving forward. Torvald clapped my shoulder, his grin wide. You're taking control, Thane, he said, his support a warmth I clung to, his role in my journey a constant. Rinja texted, Sigrid found something, meet me at the bakery tomorrow. The message hinted at a twist, the stakes rising, my determination unshakable. I didn't sleep, the night stretching endlessly, Maren's sneer at my protests a haunting loop, her betrayal a wound I couldn't close. I thought of our early days, her laughter once genuine, a memory tainted by her cruelty. I'd trusted her, believed her excuses, it's just a networking event, Thane but I'd seen the way she looked at Eamon at past gatherings, her hand lingering, her smile brighter for him than for me, a truth I couldn't unsee. The bakery loomed, a battlefield I wasn't fully ready for, but I knew I had to face her, to uncover the full extent of her deceit, while my week of silence had set the stage, a moment I'd never forget, driving me to fight with a strength she'd never break. As everything took a turn I never expected. The bakery's morning warmth enveloped me as I stepped inside, the scent of rising dough and cinnamon a faint comfort against the storm inside me. Rinja's urgent text, Sigrid found something still burning in my mind. Maren's defiance in going to Eamon's party despite my protests had been a dagger, her affair with him confirmed by his confession, she wanted to start over a haunting reality I couldn't unsee. And my week of ignoring her had been a quiet rebellion, a line drawn after years of her cruelty. I'd confronted Eamon, and now, with Sigrid digging into Maren's secrets, I was ready to uncover the full truth, no longer the Thane she'd mocked as weak. Rinja was waiting in the back room, her eyes sharp with determination as she pulled me to a table cluttered with mixing bowls, the morning light streaming through a small window, casting a golden glow on the flowered countertop. Sigrid's got something big, Thane, she said, her voice steady, her role in my fight a fierce anchor. I nodded, my hands trembling as I recounted Eamon's confession and my confrontation at his loft. Rinja's face hardened, her support a lifeline. Look at this, she said, handing me a file from Sigrid. Maren's been using a secret credit card to pay for hotel stays with Eamon. She's been funneling money from freelance design gigs to fund their trips. My breath caught, the depth of her deceit a fresh wound, a plot twist that hit like a punch. She's been planning to leave you for over a year, Rinja added, her tone grim. She wanted to drain your joint account first. I wrote in my notebook, her lies are her prison. The words fueled me, a declaration of my fight, bolstered by Rinja's encouragement, a fire growing within me to expose her fully. I called Torvald, needing his steady presence, his voice a lifeline over the phone. She's been paying for hotels, Torvald, I said, my voice cracking. With Eamon. His tone was firm, his role in my journey a constant warmth. Come to the loft, we'll strategize. At Torvald's loft, the scent of sawdust and metal from the hardware store below grounded me as I sat on his couch, the file open before me. You've got her cornered, Thane, he said, clapping my shoulder, his support a foundation I leaned on. What's your next move? I nodded, the fire within me burning brighter. I'm confronting her at the house, I said, my voice steady, a defiance I'd never shown Maren before. Sigrid texted, Maren's at your house, she's packing to leave with Eamon. The message raised the stakes, my determination unshakable, ready to face her on my own turf. I drove home, the midday sun casting sharp shadows across the driveway, my heart pounding as I walked in. Maren was in the bedroom, stuffing clothes into a suitcase, Eamon standing nearby, his smirk gone, replaced by a nervous glance as he saw me. "Thane," Maren said, her voice trembling, her eyes red, a flicker of the woman who'd feared failure, now caught in her own web. "I know about the credit card, the hotels," I said, my voice steady, the external conflict a battlefield I was ready for. "You've been planning to leave me for Eamon." Her face crumpled, tears spilling, but Eamon's voice cut through, his tone sharp. "She's mine now," he snapped, his arrogance a betrayal in itself. I didn't back down. "Then take her, she's not my burden anymore," I said. Turning to leave, Maren's voice trailing, Thane, wait but I didn't look back, the confrontation a victory, her stunned silence a prelude to her defeat. I drove to Torvald's, writing, "I'm free to stand." The pain of her defiance, her affair with Eamon, still lingered, but I was moving forward, supported by Torvald, Brynja, and Sigrid, their roles in my journey a foundation I'd build on. Ready to face whatever came next, while Maren's world crumbled, her sneering dismissal at the party a memory I'd outgrow with a strength she'd never break, as everything took a turn I never expected. The hardware store's faint clatter of tools below Torvald's loft was a steady rhythm against the storm inside me. Maren's desperate plea in the bedroom, Thane, wait a fading echo in my mind. Her stunned silence after I confronted her about the secret credit card and hotel stays a crack in her icy control. Her defiance in going to Eamon's party, Eamon's smug claim, she's mine now, and their plan to leave together had been a haunting reality I couldn't unsee. But I'd walked away, ignored her for a week, and now, with Sigrid's evidence piling up, I was ready to seal my freedom, no longer the Thane she'd mocked as weak. Torvald handed me a fresh glass of water, his eyes sharp with concern as he sat across from me, the midday light casting a warm glow through his small window, illuminating the cluttered loft. "You've got her on the ropes, Thane," he said, his voice steady, his role in my journey a constant anchor. "She's losing everything." His words were a boost, his support a foundation I leaned on. I nodded, my resolve unyielding. "I'm not stopping now," I said, my voice firm, a defiance I'd never shown Maren before. I wrote, "I'm free to stand." The words were a vow, a step beyond the pain, fueled by his encouragement and Brynja's fierce guidance. Brynja called, her voice urgent as I answered. "We've got a twist, Thane," she said, her role in my fight a fierce beacon. "Maren tried to transfer the house deed to Eamon to protect it from the settlement, but Sigrid caught it. The deed's been frozen, and she's facing fraud charges." My breath caught, the depth of her desperation a shock, her fear in the bedroom now a prelude to her latest scheme. "She's at her mother's house, meeting Maris to plan her defense," Brynja added. "She's panicking, Thane. Be ready." I nodded, the stakes higher, my determination unshakable, ready to face her one last time. I drove to Maris's house, the quaint bungalow's ivy-covered walls now a stark contrast to the chaos within, my heart pounding as I knocked, the afternoon sun casting long shadows across the porch. Maris opened the door, her face pale, her eyes cold, but Maren's voice called from inside, trembling. "Thane," she said, stepping into view, her eyes red, a flicker of the woman who'd feared failure, now caught in her own web. I didn't want this. I was trying to protect us." Her words were soft, a glimpse of vulnerability, but I saw the manipulation beneath, her hands clutching a file, Maris's sharp glare, hoping to pull me back into her control. "You tried to give the house to Eamon," I said, my voice steady, cutting through her lies, the external conflict a battlefield I was ready for. "You don't belong to me, Maren, but you don't get to destroy me either." Her face crumpled, tears spilling, but Maris's voice cut through, her tone sharp. "You're throwing away her future," she snapped, her defense of Maren a betrayal in itself. I didn't back down. "She threw me away first," I said, turning to leave, Maren's voice trailing, Thane, "I'm sorry, but I didn't look back." The confrontation a victory, her stunned silence a prelude to her defeat. I drove to the bakery, my notebook open, writing, "I'm free to grow." The pain of her defiance, her affair with Eamon, still lingered, but I was moving forward. Brynja met me there, her hug fierce. "Court's tomorrow, Thane," she said, her role in my journey a constant warmth. "You've got this." Torvald texted, "Proud of you, man. Finish it." Sigrid called, her voice steady. "Maren's lawyer dropped her after the fraud charges. She's done," she said, her role in uncovering the truth a critical support. The court hearing loomed, a final battle to seal my freedom, but I was ready, armed with evidence, resolve, and a fire within, supported by Torvald, Brynja, and Sigrid. Maren's choice to go to Eamon's party had been her undoing, and I'd walked away, fought back, ready to forge a new path, while her world crumbled, her sneering dismissal a memory I'd outgrow with a strength she'd never break. The courtroom's heavy air lifted as the judge's ruling echoed, granting me the house and a settlement from Maren's seized assets, her fraud charges and Eamon's testimony ensuring her downfall. Her tearful apology at Maris's house, Thane, I'm sorry, was a distant memory, her world of deceit now in tatters, her stunned silence after my confrontation a moment that had marked her defeat. I'd ignored her for a week after she went to Eamon's party, walked away, and now, Thane, the man she'd called weak, stood victorious, a fire she couldn't extinguish burning within me, ready to forge a new path on my own terms. Sigrid's final update came as I left the courthouse. Maren's facing probation and community service, she texted. Maris has disowned her after the fraud charges. You're free, Thane. A last twist, Eamon had tried to flee the country with Maren's remaining funds, but Sigrid tipped off the authorities, leaving Maren completely isolated, her fear at Maris's house a glimpse of the woman who'd lost everything, her empire gone. Eamon out of her life. I didn't linger on her pain. My focus was on the life I was building, one she couldn't touch, a new chapter born from the ashes of her betrayal. I returned to the house, its silence now a space for renewal, the living room where she'd dismissed my protest transformed into a place of creativity. I'd always loved painting, a hobby I'd set aside to support Maren's career, so I set up an easel in the corner, pulling out my old brushes and canvases. I started painting again, capturing scenes of the small-town bookshop where we'd met, the quiet streets at dawn, each stroke a step toward healing, a reminder of who I'd been before her sneers dimmed my light. Torvald joined me on weekends, his gruff humor a comfort as we painted together, our bond deepened by the shared fight we'd endured. You've got a real talent, Thane, he said one afternoon, admiring a canvas of a sunrise, his role as a friend a steadfast pillar in my journey. I started volunteering at a local community center, teaching art classes to seniors, their stories and laughter a grounding force, a reminder of my own resilience. Brynja helped me organize a small gallery show at the center, her encouragement a quiet strength. You've found your colors, she said, her role a beacon through my fight, their presence a foundation I'd rebuild on. I reconnected with old friends from the bookshop days, hosting art nights in the backyard, the scent of paint and the sound of shared stories a new rhythm in my life, a way to connect that felt authentic, a return to the man I'd been before Maren. A symbolic act of closure came when I painted a small canvas of the fireplace from that night, the flames vibrant but contained, entitled it Burning Bridges. I buried a shard of Maren's scarf, the one she'd worn to Eamon's party, beneath a new rose bush in the backyard, letting the earth reclaim it, a gesture that felt like releasing the last of her hold on me, turning betrayal into beauty. Maren faded to a footnote, her probation a quiet end, Maris estranged, Eamon long gone. I didn't care. My life was here, with Torvald's shared painting sessions, Brynja's gallery shows, Sigrid's updates, the seniors' laughter at the center. I started selling my paintings at local markets, the chatter of buyers and the rustle of canvas a new melody in my life, a way to share my vision that felt true, a return to the man I'd been before Maren. Happiness wasn't loud, it was the stroke of a brush, the seniors' smiles, the warmth of community. Maren's choice to go to Eamon's party, her affair with him, had been her undoing, and I'd walked away, fought back, with Torvald, Brynja, and Sigrid by my side. The external conflict in court, the confrontation at Maris's house, had been my stage to stand tall, and I'd won, not by her rules, but by rediscovering my art. As I stood in the backyard, Torvald at my side, the Burning Bridges canvas in my mind, I knew I'd turned her betrayal into a new beginning, a life of creativity, community, and peace, while Maren faced the emptiness of her own making. Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read them all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help this video reach more viewers. See you in the next one.